Okay.
So. Okay, so tell me, what advice would you give to voters and citizens on how to approach you for issues that are important to them?
Yeah, first off, I'm glad that people are coming down because it's important that people get involved in government, and it's exciting that you can come to the Capitol and you can meet your representatives and senators. So that's a really good thing. Some general advice, obviously, being respectful and having an idea of who you're going to go talk to. Just if you know you're going to come talk to a certain rep or senator, find out who your rep and senator is. Maybe read a little bit of background about them so you have an idea of who you're going to go see. Don't overestimate how much we know. There's a lot of things that we work on so many different areas that there's times that we just aren't as familiar with a field of studies we'd like to be. The people that come down, when you come down and talk to your rep or your senator, you're the expert. You know more about, occupational therapy or any other subject than we do, and because that's your field that you're mastering or you've mastered. So be confident in your knowledge, and put a personal take on it. I mean, we hear numbers all the time. We hear numbers, we hear, for economic reports and budget numbers, but some of the best sort of testimony I've seen when people come down and say, this is what I do, this is why it's important, and these are the reasons I asked for your support is because I was working with the patient this morning, and we made some great progress, and we could do even more, and rather than just saying numbers, make it personal. So those are things that I think are helpful.
Okay. If they were to provide you with, if they needed to reach you by email or letter, or do you have any recommendations as far as the content of that or the format of that, or what is easiest for you to process?
Yeah, in fact, making it personal is important in the sense of we get so many form letters, so getting the exact same template and having 10 people send the exact same template is not particularly helpful. Having 10 people taking the time to write something that is meaningful to them, and even if it's on the same topic, we'll definitely read and respond to all those if they're original thoughts and ideas. It's a combination of emails and phone calls and letters are all good. If you can come down here, the personal contact is the best. There's no doubt about that. They're all helpful, but looking somebody in the face and sitting down and taking the time to interact with them is the best option.
Okay. I said
visiting at home.
Oh, what about within your districts?
Right. So I think most reps and senators are more than willing to take time to meet people in their districts. Part of it's a timing issue. So the time to come to Jeff City is when we're in session, January through May. And as we get further into session, we're in Jeff City more, and we have more time on the House floor. We have more time that's scheduled, so we have less time to meet. Coming here early to meet in the Capitol in January and February is great. And then we can meet really sort of any time, but outside in our home districts, but outside of session is best. So over the summer and the fall, that's the easiest time to get to schedule meetings in districts. But that doesn't mean you can't do it other times too. But just as a general idea, that's kind of the best way to break it up.
So your busiest time is the spring, specifically after February through May.
Right. I mean, so if you come down to the Capitol in May, it's pretty hard to find people because we're on the floor all the time.
Right.
It's
those are those 24-hour long days, right?
Right. It's hard to schedule and say, oh, we'll be in my office at a certain point.
Right. Okay.
Election year.
What about? Do we want to know?
Being an election year, how to get, why people should be involved in the supporting a candidate?
Yeah, I mean, the legislature really does represent the people in the sense of, in the House it's 163 people from, by definition, all over the state. And we reflect the state, and we reflect, but I guess more accurately, we reflect the voters of the state. We reflect the people that are involved and interested in the state. And if you're involved and interested, then your concerns are going to be, somebody's going to address your concerns, they're going to be aware, and people to come down here are going to represent those. If you're not, A, we don't know what you want us to do, and B, if you don't speak up, there's a bunch of other people that are, and they're the ones that are going to get the attention first. So being involved in the process in terms of voting in elections, talking to candidates to get their opinions on things, and then following up and meeting with people in Jefferson City, meeting with people back in their home districts. You've really got to be involved in the process all the way through, and it can make a tremendous difference. And so much of what people do as health professionals or in any capacity is a function of government regulation and government rules, both federal and state. And so you may think that the government doesn't affect you, and that you just go to work, from 8 to 5, and then you spend time with your family, and that's. But the way that what government does is affecting tremendously how you spend your time at work, what you do at work, how much you get compensated for your work, things like that.
So, do you have any insight that you could offer people on how to determine when the political forums are, where they could come hear candidates speak, or how to get involved with election campaigns?
I think you can just email your representative. I mean, every community is different. I know a lot of local newspapers will publish that stuff, but if you just email your representative and say we want to set up a meeting, almost everyone will. If you say I'd like to hear you speak, and I'm curious when the next community forum is. I know I have one
next week.
Yeah, well, I have one tomorrow too, actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
In Columbia?
Yeah.
Where at?
At Harpo's, the University of Missouri.
They have their legislative forum tomorrow. Okay.
And so, I know that in the next couple months I have 3 or 4 different forums that I'll be there, that anybody can ask questions about any topic. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody emails my office, we can tell them right away where the next time will be. So and a lot of those forums are sponsored by a particular group, but you can ask questions about anything. Mm-hmm. And so you'll notice when you come to the state capitol, we don't have any security here. Anybody can literally walk in the front door of the capitol and then find the rep's office and walk right in. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I love that. Mm-hmm. We are far more accessible to the people than Washington, D.C. is. Mm-hmm. If you have a question for your representative, if you want your representative to hear your opinion, I absolutely guarantee that you can make that happen. You may not get the answer that you want, but you will get an answer, and you can't do that at every level of government, but at state government you still can.
Wonderful. Do you have anything else?
Anything else you can think of that we...
Anything you want to know about occupational therapy when Hill Day comes around?
I said I wouldn't assume that people know too much, so I would start with the very basics about what do occupational therapists do, why are they important, maybe how they differ from physical therapists, mm-hmm. Where they fit into the continuum of care and helping people, what role the state plays in it. I wouldn't assume that people know it too much.
We typically don't. But.
Right. Because a lot of folks don't. And I didn't know a lot until I came down here and started, when mm-hmm. I first got elected, I wouldn't have known very much either. So I'd start with the basics, and then if there's some offices you're going to walk into where there are people that are former health professionals, and they're going to know a lot right away, and then you can jump to a more detailed, intricate mm-hmm. Discussion with them. But I would start from the very basics, and then if it's clear, you can go more in depth and do. But I would start with the assumption that you have to explain things.
Okay.
So.
Anything else? No. Thank you so much.
Oh,